What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Aaron Lasher, and today I'm going to show you guys how to paint up a body like a pro. All right, things you're gonna need. Get yourself a set of Lexan scissors. These happen to be the Bitty Designs. Get yourself a body reamer. This one's a ProTech body reamer. And then, of course, you want your liquid mask. I'm using this in particularly. I do recommend the Bitty Designs one, but this is what I had on hand. And you can airbrush or can. In this case, we're actually out of airbrush paint. We are a couple days before a race. We need to use what we got, so we do have some spare cans. Make sure you guys are using the right stuff. I personally use the Tamiya color. This is for Lexan plastics in particularly. Normal paint like Rust-Oleum or anything like that is not gonna work, guys, so do not use that. Whatever you do not use that. So off camera here, I took my Lexan scissors and I cut all the excess off of the body, which this is a J Concepts body here, and I trimmed it all up. I just wanted to actually fit it on the car before we apply paint or anything like that. I want to make sure everything's fitting well. And then in my case, I actually have the indents right here, as you could see. You could see them on each body post. And so they're already there. But at this state, you want to make sure everything is straight on your car, at least for short course. You know, the buggy bodies and stuff are a little easier. But in this case, I want to make sure the cars sit and level, sitting good, we're clearing, everything's good with it. Go ahead and mark your holes, and then you're going to take your body reamer and actually ream them out. So the benefit of this, rather than using some sort of knife or something, is that the body reamer is very exact. So yeah, it's going to basically put the holes exactly the size you need them for your body posts and make sure that you have a full clean finish. So I'm going to do that now. So I could take you in here. You just kind of twist and push until you get the desired size you want. Pretty easy stuff. Just make sure you're doing it straight. And then make sure everything fits on the car properly. Today we're doing a couple short course bodies, so you don't always have to do it this way. Just keep in mind one thing, well, a couple things really. If you look here in the light, you see the little cutouts right there? Now, obviously, I'm not going to take that and then worry about that blowing in the wind when I'm painting outside. So I'm going to keep that in place, but this is what we cut off. This was all on the bottom of the body. There's another section somewhere. I must have misplaced it already. But I don't think we're going to run those little number plate cards in the rear, but they're there. You can see the little indents. Camera just kind of catches it. But that's a part of the body. You know, you can paint, I'd paint them separately. Sometimes it's easier to keep the body fully intact. Truthfully, we were not sure how this body was going to fit. It is a universal J Concepts body, so we had to make sure that we had the right fitment for the car, and I'd rather do it this way, where I can get a good idea of exactly where everything is without having it covered in paint, and I make sure that everything is perfectly aligned, we have clearance everywhere, etc. So just keep in mind, no, don't get rid of those scraps up there on the bench. Don't get rid of those. If you are going to use the pieces you cut off like this, you can see the outline there pretty good. I'm going to paint these right beside the car as I'm shooting the car at the same time. So yeah, which leads us to our next step. See this film here? Do not touch the film. There is a film on the outside of the body. Another reason why I'd like doing all of this beforehand is that you have a less likelihood of actually scratching the body itself up and ruining your nice, perfect paint job. So, yeah. Excuse the mess here in the background as we're race prepping and obviously have more than one body to do. But here you are. Here's what you're left with. A perfectly ready to go, cut out body, trimmed edges, etc. So if you guys do have to go around the body and have some rough edges, you know, you can sand them and stuff like that. Again, while the film is on there, you're not going to scuff anything up, but keep in mind the inside is what you're painting. The outside is just a mask to make sure that there's no overspray on your finished production, but this is what you should be left with. And at this point in the game, it is time to actually wash it out. So just a little bit of Dawn. Next thing you're gonna do is get a Sharpie. I didn't mention that in the beginning of the video. But you're gonna sit there. We have our paint job right here. And that's our scheme for all the cars that we're running for this year anyway. So we're gonna now let the artist do her thing because I suck at art. And yeah, the body's gonna be all drawn up and we'll show you in when it's done. So that's it. All drawn up, then you're ready for the next step. But that's what it should look like. And don't be scared. There's a film over this, which is why you don't remove it. And none of this marker is going to be shown after you peel that up after your paint job. You just got done scrubbing it off. Of course, I had to do it off camera. I had to make sure I did a real good job on it and couldn't hold the camera. A little tip. I always like using the blue shop towels. Normal paper towels actually have a wax coating on them and it could screw up the job. So we're gonna make sure it's super dry. We're gonna repeat, of course, the one on, in our case, the second body, but we're gonna make sure it's all dry and then we're gonna get to liquid masking. We got 2 dried and perfectly clean bodies. At this point, avoid putting your fingers up in there. The oils from your hands will possibly make the paint not stick. But to make things a little easier, we're going to use the provided window masks. I like to just use those, stick them on, it's easier. And then, yeah, you don't have to since we're going to use a liquid mask, but it's just, I like doing it. It's just a peace of mind. A bunch of ways you can do it at this point. You're all cleaned, you're masked up, your design is drawn on the outside. A couple ways of going about it. I'm going to show you this way. If you are airbrushing, you could airbrush the whole thing with a few layers of liquid masks and then basically take an X-Acto knife, trace the design. You can even put like a hard line in it so you trace over it, inside design, outside design, and then put a black line. And as you paint, you peel. But in this case, you know, we're going to keep it simple. I didn't have time to order airbrushes. Naturally, us racers are always in a rush. So we're going to do a can job on this one, but it's good for you first timers to do something basic. We're just doing a basic 2-color design on this one. This is our scheme this year. And then next year, of course, we're going to get more into it. We're using this cheap micro mask. It actually works really good. So basically what you're going to do, you're going to take your micro mask, you're going to take your paintbrush, and this is the manual way of doing it. And we're basically going to get it, we're gonna paintbrush this inside design. So what we're doing is our design is black all the way around, and then inside this actual design that's drawn out is going to be gold. So we're doing a basic 2-color design, so that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna coat that up now. Side note, if you do use these paper masks or just the normal tape masks for the sides, be very careful not to get this on them, because as you peel up the design to then paint the design, it will take the window mask right up with it. So like I said, this is what I'm using. I do recommend the Biddy Designs liquid mask. This is what I was able to get at my local hobby shop, so that's what we're going to use here. focus on your edges. That's really all you have to focus on, and then the rest of it, just kind of lather it up. I did do a few coats. This product, honestly, is probably good with just one, but as you can tell, it's very hard to see. This product is actually a water-based product, and it takes an hour to dry. So we'll pull you back in. I'm gonna hit the other one. Liquid mask everything up a bunch, and you can't ever use too much, that's for sure. So better safe than sorry. And yeah, we're just about ready to paint. Now, after your liquid mask has been sitting in there for a little bit, we're just gonna, you could use a hair dryer to speed it up, but we're actually gonna take these out and get set up for painting. As you can tell right here, see how it's slightly teal. This stuff is super cheap, but it works really freaking good. Again, for you guys, this is more of like a train thing. But I do have experience using this, and this has been by far some of the best stuff ever. Goes on, it's very hard to see, but as you can tell, you see how it's slightly tealish in the areas that we did. A little harder to see on that one, but yeah, so it will dry kind of clear on you, but as you can tell, the Sharpie marker, you can see the design is fully filled in, and we're gonna let it bake in the sun a little bit, warm up that plastic, and get into a well-ventilated area where you can get ready to paint. So we're gonna let these things bake in the sun for about 30 more minutes, give it that full hour to cure. That way it's gonna peel up nice, and we're gonna get our paint area set up in the shade. I actually like to hold the bodies when I paint them. Mind you now that everywhere we liquid masked off is now protected from the paint that we're putting down. Now, when it comes to paint, we want to go with our darkest color first, which in our case, we're using black. The gold that we're going to use is not going to bleed through the black, so the black's going to be the first color we do. So we're going to do everything that's obviously not masked off in black. The inner section is going to be gold. So we're going to apply our black, several light coats, and we'll be almost ready to peel that liquid mask up. You want to go in really light coats, and you want to obviously, just in case the liquid mask is a little bit flawed, you don't want to drill the area that you're wanting gold, so or whatever other color you're trying to do. So like I said, if you had an airbrusher, you could totally spray this whole thing in there, weed out your design with an X-Acto knife, pinstripe it. You can go crazy as you want because all the designs will be able to be seen. Darkest color first, you cut out the next design for your next color, cut out the next design for your following color, so on and so forth, going from darkest to lightest color. This is pretty much just the painting process, light coats, a few coats of each color, and you're generally good to go. But that's after one light coat. You can see a little better on this one. You can see we purposely did not drill the areas that we want to still remain clear because that's going to be our secondary color. But it's there for its job. Some people spray the whole thing and then just peel it up. Whatever way you want to do it, whatever floats your boat, by all means go for it. So like I said, guys, few coats. Make sure you got enough paint. These short course bodies take up quite a bit. Few coats, light coats, and give it about 15 minutes between each one. And we're going to make sure that our primary color, which is black, is fully cured before we go peeling the liquid mask up. And guys, if you're doing this outside, even in a well-ventilated area, which I highly, highly recommend, you guys are going to want a mask. Even with the cans, this stuff is potent. It's a little hot today, but we did 3 coats of black. So we're going to leave it in the shade to bake. We're going to bring it inside, and then we're going to peel it off. Take your X-Acto blade very lightly on an angle. Kind of pull up on one of the ends of your design after, of course, it's cured, and just kind of work it with your fingers, get it started. You should see it start to kind of peel. Sorry, the focus is a little off. Kind of peel it up. I'm gonna need 2 hands for this, but you pull it up and it should pull up your design that you covered. Just like this, grab it and slowly start pulling up. Now keep in mind that if you got any on these window masks, you may need to re-window mask them. That's the only problem with doing it this way. But either way, get the job done. So we're going to pull it up now, lift it all nice and easy. If we got to go around the windows with the X-Acto to salvage these, we will. But just kind of use common sense, and yeah, you'll be all right. Here we are. You have a pile of liquid mask and a body that looks like this. Like I said, go through it really well. Maybe use a razor blade in certain areas. This stuff in particularly, I could wait for it to cure and actually wash it, and it will actually wash away. I do like peeling it. I could be a little bit more precise, I feel like, and I don't really like the idea of washing something with fresh paint. So this is what you'll have, guys. And then like I said, the black, nothing's gonna bleed through the black, so we're ready for our next color on this segment. Now I'll take a blue wet paper towel and just make sure I got it all off. One last wipe down, and then repeat the same thing for your next color. So take a damp blue shop rag, damp, give it a good scrub all over the place. That makes sure that all your liquid mask is not peeling up anywhere, you didn't miss any. Give it a good wipe down. We just sprayed black on a toothbrush to give us that full breakout effect that we're going for. So as you can tell, all the little splatters up in there. Not too much, not too little, just at random. Kind of whip it at it, flick it, whatever. And gives us that effect. So now it's time, we're done with the black. Now it's officially time to jump into the gold. But if you want to do any cool little effects, there's so many little things you can do, like with an airbrush, with like stencils and all sorts of stuff. This is a full freehand pattern we're doing, and kind of making the effects be supernatural and raw and real from items you guys can literally use at your own home. So we give it a good shake, and of course 15 minutes in between coats, same thing. But this gold we're using in particular is not going to bleed through that black, so we are in the clear. All right, now should look something like that. All right, see the body starting to come together. Now, of course, if you're doing more than 2 colors, just repeat the same steps. You would go back and mask, unmask again, etc. So we just finished the gold. So now we're gonna back it all in white so the whole body underside matches and it pops out the colors from the outside as well. Before applying the white, just put that in the sun. Make sure you have no areas that are bleeding through with sunlight. As you can tell, I do. So we're not fully done with the gold yet. When you're using lighter colors, this tends to happen. So get as much coverage as you can. Sometimes it needs quite a bit of paint to cover those areas before we back in white. But backing it in white will be our final step. So of course I'm doing 2 at the same time, as you guys know. Easier that way if you guys have erasers and stuff like that, having multiple bodies. Obviously everyone's scheme likes to match. But yeah, this is more towards anybody, novice to advanced that wants a custom paint job. Maybe you're not an artist. Well, you can make something work like this and have pretty damn decent results. So all of our colors are done. At this point, you can add clear coat if you want as a protective layer. We want the colors to pop as much as they can and be as shiny and glossy as they can. So we're gonna hit it with some pure white gloss, and that way it has a nice uniform finish on the bottom, and it's gonna pop nice when it's on the car. So let's have at it. We'll use this as our clear coat layer instead of using clear coat, but it is a good idea to use clear coat if you guys want. Definitely glossens it up and just adds that nice protection layer. So in our case, white obviously isn't our color, but it's gonna be light enough to where it won't bleed through our colors, and it will give that nice uniform professional look. We got them dusted down in white, so it has a nice universal look on the bottom. It's gonna pop that color nice on the other side. And now we're gonna let it bake in the heat a little bit as that sun's setting over there. We're gonna let it bake in the heat a little bit and get some of those fumes out before we bring it inside. But finally a wrap. So then, obviously cut your body out. That one I still need to cut out, but I already showed you guys that. So now it's the fun part of unmasking your project. Make sure the paint is fully dry. Mine's still kind of curing, so I'm not gonna mess with it yet. Peel the window masks off, obviously. But what we can do is finally peel off the protective film. And as you can tell, This thing looks amazing. So, get on a piece here. Remember, don't forget to do this before applying your stickers, guys. The gold is popping nice. By far the most satisfying part of it, right here. There you have it. And just pop off your window masks. Nice and easy. And once that's done, you're officially ready to put your stickers on and ready to go. And of course, guys, after you guys cut, do not forget the little cutouts and stuff like that. If your body has any, as you can see, those little imprints, you do have to cut those out separately. We have another little like number plate type thing right there. So, FYI, do not forget that. I gotta go get cleaned up, and we should pull you in after the decals are installed. Then get your sticker sheet. Get a little cutting board, cut each one out as tight as you can. Little pro tip there to get the stickers looking as clean as you can. And then of course, just apply them and follow the little outlines if you can see them. You see little indentations for where each thing goes. Put it on nice and clean and you'll be done. Well, everybody, I appreciate you for following along. I hope your body comes out just as good as this one. I'm pretty pumped on it. It's our new little scheme we're doing this year. And yeah, I really appreciate you guys for following along and watching. I hope I was able to help some of you. Maybe you learned something for you more experienced guys. I don't know. I like doing the how-to stuff. If there's any knowledge I know that I feel like could be useful to you guys at home, I'm willing to share that. So yeah, guys, if this helped you out, please drop a like, make sure you subscribe, comment what you thought below, and yeah, hopefully your cars are looking fresh, and hopefully I'll see you out on the track soon. All right, guys, thank you. Bye bye.